get to our ultimate DFS lineup, Pete. I'm going to give you the first pick here because, quite frankly, there's a lot of ways to go with this thing, and we can zig, we can zag, and I'm interested to see where you go with having the first pick.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting week. We didn't talk about some of these big favorites at the top. I mean, Patrick Reed could certainly go out and play well here. He's lower. He's the lowest in odd work, but he's the fourth most expensive golfer after Rahm's out. So I think he's interesting in DFS, but I'll go a little different direction. I'm really bullish on Eric Van Rooyen. Missed the cut on the number last week, but had really good ball striking stats, putted horribly. Those are the type of guys I'm normally buying. I think he makes a lot of sense this week. So let's go Van Rooyen as our first pick.
All right. I like that a lot. That range, that sort of mid to high 7,000s on DraftKings this week is absolutely fire. I mean, there are weeks when I look at that range and I go, I can't squeeze anyone to a lineup. I don't like any of these guys. And where I like really, the higher numbers and the lower numbers. And I think guys at 6,800 are just as good, if not better, as guys at 7,800 this week. Those 7,000s have a lot of value. I picked Aaron Wise to be my favorite outright this week, and you have not given me any reason to jump off of Aaron Wise yet. And so like a West Coast guy on the West Coast, did not have a good 2020, but finished it really well. Second place at Mayakoba in his final start of the year, making his first start this year. I'm going to go Aaron Wise at 7,600.
Yeah, Aaron Wise was the unluckiest golfer last year, then came on strong at the end of the year. Ton of talent, unbelievable pedigree as an amateur, and coming up, I think he realizes potential here very soon, and hopefully it's starting off in Palm Springs. Love that pick. I'll save you Doc Redmond, who I think is another really strong pick this week. Just from a DFS price, I think Scotty Scheffler is way too cheap. My only concern is he might be a little chalky in DFS, so I'll get contrarian later, but we're going to have some money, especially if you pick Doc Redmond. So I'll go with Scotty Scheffler at 9,500, who I think, should be more expensive than Ricky, than Wolf. And then he's kind of in that same tier for me as Reed and Finau, and Koepka's way overpriced. So I like Scheffler.
I'm going to do something very similar because I'm looking at the top tier, and quite honestly, there aren't a lot of guys at the top. I've made lineups so far where I'm like, oh, I have 10-5 left, so I'll throw Finau in there. Or, oh, I have 10-2 left, so I'll throw Reed in there. Or 99, I'll throw in Im. And to me, they're kind of interchangeable. I can see any one of those guys capable of winning. I don't necessarily love any of them. I certainly don't hate any of them. The one guy that I do think has a high ceiling and a low floor, but if we're playing this in GPP contests, we like that high ceiling, is Matthew Wolff. And I think the fact that he is priced right around the same as guys like Reed and Im and Scheffler, I think maybe take some ownership away from Wolff. So we've got some money to spend here, and we've got some guys that we like who are a little bit lower. So I'm going to go Wolff at 9,700.
Okay, perfect. I'll leave you the ability to get the guy that you talked about, but you can also go a different direction because I know there's another guy that you like in this range. I'll go with Substracka at 7,400. I do think Wolff will be a little bit lower owned. Straka is playing well in his history here, so I'm pretty interested in Substracka, who I think is a much better golfer than people realize, and definitely better than his DFS price. I mean, I saw some significant value in the betting markets, and I think he's a really strong value here in DFS. And I think we have a couple picks that might go a little under the radar. So Substracka I don't think will be like chalk, but maybe kind of the mid-tier. And I leave you 7,900. So you can go a lot of different directions here. I know you love Doc Redmond. Certainly love that pick, but you can go somewhere else too if you want.
Yeah. So first of all, Pete, I'm in a couple of one and done pools, and in one of them, one that I've been in for 22, 23 years now.
That's cool.
Myself and my buddy Jim, we've been doing it forever, and we call each other. They do it in 3 segments. So the first 2 picks were just okay, kind of like just throwing a pick for Kapalua, throwing a pick for Sony, and then coming into this week, we have to do everything through the Masters. After the Masters, we'll have to make all our picks through probably the PGA Championship, and then after the PGA, we'll probably have to do all our picks through the end of the playoffs. You do it in 3 waves, basically, and so
you get alternates.
No, I think you
get one mulligan.
You get one mulligan for the year. So if your guy doesn't show up, then you can replace him that week. But if you have a second guy and he doesn't show up,
Ooh,
that's
ouch.
it. So helps to know who shows up at what places. But moral of the story is just a couple hours before we started recording the pod, myself and my buddy Jim got on the phone together and we started making our OAD picks for the first segment. And the guy that we've got this week is indeed Substracka. So
Love
when
that.
you mentioned Straka, I like him a lot. I've already got him outright. I listed him as a top 10 play in my column this week. And so I think that's a really strong play by you. And I know what you're trying to leave for me. And I might as well take it if you're going to throw it out there. And Doc Redmond sitting there at 7,500. I will say that I don't necessarily like Doc Redmond as much as I usually do, but that's only because I usually really, really like him, and I only really like him this week. So still, I think a very strong play, but if you're looking in that range, I don't mind a Gary Woodland at 7,700. I don't mind a Lucas Glover at 75, a Joel Damon at 75, Taylor Gooch at 74, Steele
like
at 73. I mean, there's a lot of ways to go right around
Steele,
that.
Gooch,
So I
and
think you're
Cameron
going to be able to.
Davis. Those are my guys.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Davis too. So, but yeah, I will throw in Redmond, and that leaves us with Aaron Wise, Eric Van Royen, Scotty Scheffler, Matthew Wolf, Substracka, Doc Redmond. I think that's a very strong lineup, Pete. What do you think?
I love it. I mean, we got a bunch of value here for me in the betting markets. I think Wolf comes in lower owned relative to these other guys in that range, so we get a little bit of leverage there. And yeah, we got young talent on this team. I mean, Wise, Scheffler, Wolf, Redmond. I really like EBR this week, so yeah, I think it's a strong team. And Substracka, I think, is one of the best values on the board. Yeah, I like this team quite a bit.
I can't wait. I think this is going to be a good week. Last week was not as good to us as it could have been. I think this week is going to be very, very good. So good luck to everybody out there with your picks for the American Express.